In this lesson, we'll cover rehosting elements. Components and elements in Revit, for the most part, are hosted or bound to some surface. For example, looking at the view right now on my screen, we have a desk. That desk is hosted on the floor right below it. It could also be a light or a wall sconce hosted on the wall, or a ceiling fan or an air diffuser or a sprinkler head could be hosted on the ceiling above. These elements are hosted on the actual surface that they're connected to or what they rest upon. You could always offset them from that, but they're still hosted on that surface. Now, rehosting basically means you're changing the host from what it currently is to something else. For example, the desk sits on the floor at level 1, but we want to rehost it to the floor on level 2. Another example would be if you're working in a multi-user environment where you have architects, engineers, mechanical people, and somebody deletes one of the hosts, like a wall or a floor. Basically, it doesn't delete the elements that are hosted on that floor, it just kind of orphans them. They're floating, or they're still there, but they need to be bound to a host. So that would be another example of why you'd want to rehost if the host was deleted purposely or accidentally. How do we go about rehosting? Well, in the example here, we're going to rehost the desk. To do that, simply click on the desk. When you click on the desk, it highlights. As you can see, if you hold the left mouse button down on it, you can move it back and forth. It stays bound to that actual floor, what it's hosted upon. You could always change the actual offset from where it's offset from, meaning it could go above or below the surface if you have the capability to do that, depending on the component that you're actually placing. Now, to rehost this, once you select an element that's hosted, on the ribbon, I'll click Pick New Host. What Revit will then do is ask you, well, pick a new host that you want to put this component on or bind it to. Well, in this case, I'm going to choose floor 2, or the floor sitting at level 2. When you do that, the desk automatically is now rehosted to that floor. And if you move it by holding the mouse button down over top of it, you can see it's now bound to level 2, or the floor sitting at level 2, but I can't move it off of that. And it's rehosted to that floor. Then the actual hosting command, or deselecting, hit escape or just hit the modify button in the upper left portion of your ribbon. And you can repeat the process again too. So as a review, in this lesson, we looked at rehosting elements. We talked about two scenarios for rehosting elements. One where you want to move an element or component, such as this desk, from one floor to another floor, and you'll just use the rehost button to actually choose the new floor to host it on. Another reason why you may want to rehost is if the original host is deleted, purposely or accidentally. You need to rehost that element to the new host that's been generated.